This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know this because we have talked about it for years. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida on this glorious Tuesday, January the 6th of 2026. As we're coming across that multiverse of ours of Safety FM, we're hanging out here and we're hanging out with our friends over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, we are hanging out, doing our stuff on Radio Big, on Safety FM, hanging out in the multiverse and doing all kinds of stuff. So let me talk to you real quick because I'm going to forget if I don't mention it. Number one, hopefully you're off to a great new year so far. If you have not hung out with us yet this year, hopefully everything is going good. I want to reference this because it is around the corner. Around the corner. February the 4th, if you are in Orlando or if you're in Central Florida or if you just want to fly into Florida, February the 4th, ACFS is having something called Safety Day. You can go to safetyfs.org going on February the 4th, just in case. In Orlando, they are doing an event where you can come and hang out, get some CEUs, listen to some great speakers about what's going on. Parking, food, and everything is already included in there. I believe the last time I checked, I need to double check this because I'm going to tell you the wrong thing because this is how well prepared I always am in life. They will be doing their event on that day. I believe it starts at 8:30 that day. I had to double check. Okay, sorry. Schedule starts at 7. 8:30 is the first speaker and opening remarks, but 7 to 8:30 is registration, and you can get to hang out with the vendors. It's at the Rosen Plaza. Safety Day 2026. Would love to see you there. Right now, if you register for the event, $50 to get in. There's going to be subjects that are going to be covered regarding generation cultivating safety leaders. They're going to have some information related to OSHA fall protection standards, also coaching and mentoring your way into safety. You'll also have information covering about safety third and 5 critical challenges facing the crane and lifting industry for today. And then at the very end, they're going to have hands-on fire extinguisher training. So there you go. You get all of that for $50. Yes, I did say 50 if you book ahead of time. acfs.org. So just a little information there for you to come and hang out. Would love to see you there. I'm mentioning this because, number one, I think it's a great event. Alliance for Central Florida Safety presents, and that's for Safety Day 2026. We will be there broadcasting. Just a little FYI, we will probably not be broadcasting the speeches itself, but we will be doing broadcasting from the event. I normally try to pull the speakers as they come off the stage for us to do some interviews. So yeah, that will be the first one that we have scheduled for the year. So acfs.org if you want to find out more information about what is going on. Safety Day on February the 4th of 2026. At the Rosen Plaza. So there you go. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about what the hell's going on around here. So our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do. That's what we talk about. That is how we hang out. If you are interested in hanging out with the show, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com or go to radiobig.fm. You will have the option of listening right there. You can also go to the good old App Store on Apple and take a listen there. We're also available on iHeartRadio. We're also available on Odyssey. We're also available on Live 365. We are also a podcast that happens at the 7 o'clock hour is where we start our show here. But at the 8 o'clock hour, the podcast kicks down once we're done with our numero uno. And only the first hour is on video. And also is the first hour on the podcast. Hour 2 and 3 that is exclusive to radiobig.fm is only streaming audio-wise. So there you go. That feels like a lot of stuff going on right there that we're talking about. So with that being said, as we talk on our show about safety in the news and safety, you can come out, hang out, and interact with us right there. Once you get there, video, audio, and text messaging are the options that are readily available. Once you get there, boom, we're good to go. It gives me a little prompter on the screen and I get moving. I don't waste any time because I want to make sure that we're interacting the whole time. That's what we do around here. Duh. So with that being said, I have some friends from Feature Story News that are here ready to hang out, ready to do their thing. So if you're ready, I'm ready, and we'll get moving, talking about all of it, doing all of it, grooving with all of it. So with that being said, let's get into it right now on what the hell is going on with the news. And I'm going to bring in my friends from Feature Story News. So let's do that. Ahora.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Nicolas Maduro has pled not guilty to narco-terrorism charges in a New York court, even as he claimed that he is still president of Venezuela. The hearing comes just days after he and his wife were forcibly taken from their country in a surprise strike by U.S. military forces. Nick Harper has more from New York.
Remember, this was the first time that we have heard from Nicolas Maduro since he was taken from Venezuela in that U.S. raid. And he struck a calm but defiant tone in the courtroom. He asserted that he is still the president of Venezuela. He said that he was a prisoner of war, that he had been kidnapped. And he went on to say that he was innocent, not guilty, and a decent man, throughout very much saying that he should still be running his country. That hearing lasted about 40 minutes.
Reaction to the capture has been mixed, both within the U.S. and internationally, with strong condemnation coming from some members of the United Nations National Security Council. Tony Waterman has more.
As this court appearance was underway, the United Nations Security Council was holding an emergency meeting. The Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, raised concerns about a further destabilization in Venezuela, while representatives from Russia, Colombia, and Iran condemned the raid. The Colombian representative called it an unjustifiable act of aggression, saying that the operation violates international law and the UN Charter. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, defended the U.S., saying Maduro was an illegitimate leader and was destabilizing the entire region.
Meanwhile, gunfire was heard near the Venezuelan presidential palace overnight, just hours after Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as the interim leader of the country. 10 people have been found guilty of cyberbullying the wife of the French president. The 8 men and 2 women were convicted of making numerous malicious comments about Brigitte Macron's gender and sexuality. Ross Cullen is reporting.
Well, the judge here in Paris on Monday applying a range of sentences, including sending one of the defendants straight to jail for 6 months, the others receiving suspended custodial sentences, some having their social media accounts blocked for a number of months, and the majority having to attend an online course against hate speech. It's not the first time we've seen legal proceedings regarding the wife of the French president's gender and her sexuality. Last year, 2 women were acquitted here in France after originally having been found guilty of libel against the French president's wife for claiming that she is a man. And there are ongoing legal proceedings in the United States where Mr. and Mrs. Macron have brought a lawsuit against the right-wing influencer Candace Owens, who also claims that Brigitte Macron is a man. The French presidential couple say that they will provide scientific evidence and photos showing that Brigitte Macron is and has always been a woman. Ross Cullen, Paris.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, is it all over for the international rules-based order of law that has dominated international relations since the end of the Second World War? With President Trump's audacious decision to seize Nicolas Maduro out of his bed in Caracas on Saturday and put him and his wife on trial in New York, and the US leader's ongoing insistence that the US is now running Venezuela, Washington is offering no justification for its actions under international law. And Lord Simon MacDonald, a former permanent secretary at the UK's Foreign Office, thinks a seismic shift is underway.
In the last 8 years, we have collectively tried to do things in a different way. Not successfully all the time, but still, every country led by the United States paid tribute to the system of international law. President Trump has decisively moved away from that. President Trump talks in terms of power and spheres of influence. It is not possible to frame this plausibly within the framework of international law. This goes back to a difficult, dangerous, more disagreeable time.
The US president is also threatening to expand his military action in Latin America, threatening Colombia with US intervention and calling it, like Venezuela, a sick nation. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Nicolas Maduro pleads not guilty to narco-terrorism charges in a New York court, even as he claims he's still president of Venezuela and now a prisoner of war. Gunfire heard near the Venezuelan presidential palace hours after Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as the country's interim leader. 10 people found guilty of cyberbullying the wife of the French president, Brigitte Macron. And that is the latest Feature Story News. Neha Punia reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month, and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Ever catch yourself thinking, I could do this on my own? If you're a safety officer with real-world skills, you don't have to wait for permission to build your freedom. On Saturday, January 31st, I'm hosting Safety Consultant 101, a free live workshop. In 2 hours, I'll help you package your expertise into a service clients will pay for and set pricing boundaries so you don't get stuck doing free advice forever. Register now at safetyconsultant101.com. Let's build your freedom.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday, going all over the great information that we get to share together. So did you hear that? Safety Consulting 101, free on the 31st of January. I will tell you, I would, if this is a field that you're getting into in regard to becoming a safety consultant, or you are a safety consultant and you need some help, Sheldon Primus is definitely the dude I would go to. I will, I will tell you, years and years ago when I found Sheldon, I had bought a pretty expensive consulting course. And when I found his info, I was super shocked on what he was giving away for a nominal fee at that time. So if you get the opportunity, I would encourage you strongly to go take a listen to what he has to say. He will set you up with some structures in regards to what needs to be done. I mean, even there was stuff on there that I had never even thought about or even given any level of consideration. And I was so amazed on what he has to offer. So there you go. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some things going on inside of the interwebs, because that's kind of what we do around here. Oh, yeah, I was told that I was supposed to play this, so let's play it.
If you think we're nothing but background music, you're wrong. We're the main event.
So apparently you need to know that we're the main event, because I tend to forget, that when we have this thing going on, we need to be moving forward, talking about everything that's going on, because that's just kind of the astroverse of what the hell we have going on. So with that being said, let's get into some news stories, because I feel like these are going to be important to talk about, because that, we are getting involved again with everything that is going on inside of the world, and it becomes one of those weird things that we need to talk about everything that's going on. So take a listen to this. Stephen Miller lit a diplomatic match on CNN by declaring that Greenland should be part of the United States, and confidently adding that nobody's going to fight the United States military over it. The comment landed like a bowling ball in NATO's punch bowl, pressed repeatedly by Jake Tapper. on whether the military force was on the table. Miller never ruled it out. Instead, he questioned Denmark's sovereignty over Greenland, calling it effectively a colony and arguing that because the U.S. is the backbone of NATO, America should control the Arctic territory for security reasons. The comments followed President Trump once again refusing to rule out taking Greenland by force, reviving an idea that he floated for years, not days. Miller insisted that this isn't some new escalation, saying that it's been the formal position of the administration going back to President Trump's first term. Things escalated further after Miller's wife, Katie Miller, posted a viral image of Greenland wrapped in an American flag with the caption, "Soon." The timing didn't help either. It came right after the dramatic U.S. operation in Venezuela, making allies nervous about how far Washington might go. Denmark's response was fast, firm, and very un-Danish in tone. Prime Minister from there publicly reminded everyone that Greenland has repeatedly said no thanks to joining the U.S. She warned that any U.S. attack on NATO countries would effectively blow up NATO itself and ending the security framework built since World War II. Since World War II. So what do you think? Like, seriously, what do you think? I know that our show consists of safety in the news. And a lot of people go, but you call it
the Rated R Safety Show.
And you talk about other stuff. Well, it is safety in the news. It's not news about safety. So we have some stuff to talk about. So there you go. So let's continue talking just for a moment here. Take a listen to this. Jury selection began yesterday for the trial of Adrian Gonzalez, a former Uvalde Consolidated ISD police officer charged in connection with the 2022 Robb Elementary School mass shooting. Gonzalez faces 29 counts of abandoning and endangering a child and has pleaded not guilty. The trial was moved from Uvalde to Corpus Christi after the defense attorney argued that Gonzalez couldn't get a fair trial in the town where 19 fourth graders and 2 teachers were killed on May 24th in 2022, the deadliest school shooting in Texas history. Visiting Judge Sid Harley, reappointed by Governor Greg Abbott, warned the jurors that this is a very high-profile case and has stressed that the indictment does not equal guilt. The trial is expected to last about 2 weeks, with the judge, not the jury, handling sentencings if Gonzalez is convicted. Out of roughly 450 potential jurors, about 150 were dismissed by late afternoon. Jury selection was tense. Many prospective jurors openly criticized law enforcement's response. Some said that they couldn't be impartial because they or loved ones are teachers, and others questioned why Gonzalez is charged when hundreds of officers were on the scenes. Emotions ran high, clapping, anger, and visible frustration with the jury room. The case also reopened scrutiny of the police response, which has been widely condemned. An 2024 DOJ report found officers waited 77 minutes. Yes, that's 77 minutes before confronting the shooter, despite multiple early opportunities to intervene. The report concluded that law enforcement misclassified the situation as a barricade scenario rather than an active shooter event. A failure of former Attorney General Merrick Garland concluded law enforcement misclassified the situation. So there you go. Instead, they should have not happened. Surveillance video later showed heavily armed officers standing in the hallway making phone calls and checking floor plans while children remained trapped inside of their classrooms. Gonzalez and former Uvalde School Police Chief Pete Arredondo are the only 2 officers charged. Arredondo faces similar counts. His trial has not yet been scheduled. He's also seeking a venue change. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So what do you think about this? Will there be a fair trial in Corpus Christi? I'm just asking the question. And if you're not familiar, you should probably take a little look at the Texas map and look at where Uvalde is located, and then take a little glance or answer over there on where exactly Corpus Christi is located. And keep in mind that I am fully aware that Texas is a gigantic state. I did live there for quite some time. Or like I like to tell people, I served some time there. And not in the way that you're thinking. So there you go. What else do we got? Do we want to jump to something happier, go luckier? Because, man, that was, some serious business. I have other stuff to talk about, but it just becomes oddities as we are going through some other stuff. Let's talk about this one because, people always want to talk about the McRib. The McRib is back in the headlines, and this time it's not for nostalgia. Four customers filed a class action lawsuit claiming that McDonald's iconic sandwich doesn't actually contain real pork rib meat. The lawsuit filed in December of 2025 accuses McDonald's of misleading customers by calling it a McRib and molding the patty to look like a rib. And let's see, which allegedly tricks people into thinking they're actually eating rib meat. According to the complaint, the McRib made from lower quality pork parts like shoulder, heart, tripe, and stomach, not ribs. The plaintiffs say that the name, shape, and marketing amount to fraud and false advertising. They're seeking to represent anyone who bought a McRib in the past 4 years, with 16 legal claims ranging from breach of warranty to consumer protection. So it turns out the McRib isn't a rib. It's just a suggestion. The McRib is basically pork cosplay, or the McRib said rib, not legally binding rib. It's not a farm to table. It's the mystery to mouth. And it's less barbecue and more CSI pork edition is what it sounds like. So what do you think here? I don't know. So there you go. So let's talk about something else that you can talk about today if you're so inclined to do so. So take a listen to this. A new popular NFL conspiracy theory claims that the league rigs games and quietly pre-selects the Super Bowl matchup, not with secret meetings, but with the colors in the Super Bowl logo. The idea is that logo colors line up with the teams and eventually make the big game, with refs allegedly nudging outcomes through penalties or conveniently missed calls. Supporters point this recent example out. So Super Bowl LVI, because we're not going to go through numbers, in orange or yellow colors, the Bengals versus the Rams. Super Bowl LVII was red and green, Chiefs versus the Eagles. And Super Bowl LIX repeated red, green again, Chiefs and the Eagles. There was one hiccup, though. Super Bowl LVII featured purple, red, and not purple team made it. Conspiracy fans argue that the Ravens, the only purple team, were knocked out of the league. That way that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift hype could to go on the train instead. Yes, really. Now on to the Super Bowl that's happening this year, whose logo was revealed in February of 2025, includes pink, red, yellow, blue, and green. Pink gets tossed out since there is no NFL team, and leaving four colors to decode. Using the theory that everyone's color must be represented, red must belong to the AFC. That narrows the AFC options to the Bills, Texans, and the Patriots. The NFC teams must be featured green and yellow, which points squarely to the Green Bay Packers. Among the AFC candidates, theorists say that the Bills' blue most closely matches the logo shade, giving them the edge. Final conspiracy is that in this year's Super Bowl will be the Buffalo Bills versus the Green Bay Packers. So mark this down. 28 minutes into the hour on January the 6th. We're talking about it on this show. Believe me, this is not my conspiracy, but it's something to talk about. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff real quick. Gmail users advised to turn off two features now amid email privacy concerns. Gmail users have been warned that they were quietly opted into setting that allows Google to scan emails and attachments to support AI tools, including Gemini, without clear consent. The feature allegedly activated back in October of 2025, according to the Australian engineer Dave Jones. It applies to all Gmail users across desktop and mobile. To fully opt out, a user must be disabled the smart feature settings, but doing so comes with a catch. Gmail loses the inbox organization, removing tabs like promotion, social, and updates, and turning the inbox into a clutter-free of all. Many users say effectively pressures them to accept the scanning of the Gmail usable. The move was already triggered a class action lawsuit in the U.S. claiming that Google secretly exploited users' email history. Privacy advocates warn that the sensitive information, financial, medical, or personal, could explore or be misused. Even Google insists that its user data to improve the service and denies directly training Gemini with Gmail content. So here's the weird part, and I'm just going to share this with you because this is a real life scenario for me. My phone scanned some of my emails, or I guess something that I did, scanned some of my emails. And it kept on telling me, do I need to buy a cell phone service for a trip that I had planned outside of the country? Because it saw it inside of my emails. Thought that was interesting. So there you go. In some other news, let's talk about this: gym memberships. Yes, I did say gym memberships, if you heard me correctly there. Spike in January. Gym membership spike about 12 to 15% in January. Attendance peaks in the first 2 weeks and then dropped sharply in week 4. What do you think? If you've been to the gym so far this year, and I mean, good if you have, and whatever if you haven't. I'm not here to judge whatever people are doing, but you are aware that it does get a little crazy. It does get a little crazy during that time, in regards to the amount of people that are in the gym. That's a good thing. That's a bad thing. Hey, listen, people want to be healthy. They do all the stuff of sometimes saying they have a New Year's resolution on what they're looking to do, and that's okay in regards to that. But I just like to warn people that your gym, or your closest gym, will more than likely be packed unless you have a home gym. And I should probably say blessed enough to have a home gym. Will probably not be as packed as the other gyms. I look at it from the standpoint that you have to do whatever you think is right, but I will want to give you fair warning. They will be packed. And that could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing, depending on what you're looking for exactly.
Radio Big, streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, so with that being said, we're so close to it. Let's go ahead and do it anyways. It is time to do that main story thing that we like to do because, hey, what else are we going to do around here if we're not talking about our main story?
Hit our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
I felt like that jumped. I really do. I really felt like that jumped there for a moment. But hey, that's okay. Those are the things that happen when you're doing a live show. So let's talk about this. Our main story today, if I would have to give it a title, I would definitely call it When the System is Quiet, That's When You Should Worry. And let me tell you something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough in safety, and that's going to be one of these things that people will agree or disagree with. We spend a lot of time reacting to noise, reacting to incidents, near misses, complaints, audits that light up red like a Christmas tree. But some of the most dangerous systems out there, they're quiet. No, like seriously, they're extremely quiet. There's no reports. There's no complaints. There's no injuries. At least not recently. Everything looks fine. And that's exactly when people stop paying attention. You know, the green. Because silence in a system doesn't always mean stability. Sometimes it means suppression. Sometimes it means normalization. Sometimes it means people have learned very carefully what not to say. I've seen this over and over and over and over again for sure. An organization will probably tell you, we've gone 400 days without a recordable, or no one raised a concern in months. And that's like they say, this is our proof of excellence. Yes, seriously, our proof of excellence. And there's the uncomfortable question that nobody asks. Is the system actually safe, or has it just trained people to stop talking? Because humans don't suddenly stop noticing risk. They stop reporting it when they believe that nothing will change, or worse, that speaking up will cost them something. And that's not human failure. That's a system design issue. Let's break this down for just a brief moment in time. Most organizations unintentionally reward silence. Think about it for just a moment. I mean, just for a brief moment, we celebrate low numbers. We post dashboards. We tie bonuses to incident rates. We praise managers who keep things under control. So, message that this sends here, I mean, let's just think about it. It tells people problems are bad, disruptions are unwelcome, and the safest thing you can do for your career, of course, is to keep your head down. So workers adapt. They reroute around broken processes. They develop workarounds that never make it into the procedures. They solve problems locally and quietly, not because they don't care, but because they care enough to keep the work moving. In leadership, the mistake that adaptive behavior for compliance. They think, see, the system works, until one day it totally does not. And when it fails, well, everyone acts shocked. Oh my God, I can't believe it! Until one day it doesn't. And then it fails, and everyone acts shocked like I just said. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe it. That was a high-pitched voice. How did this happen? Or should I do it this way?
How did this happen?
Why did anyone say anything? Why? How did we totally miss this? When did we know? But the signals were always there. They were just muted. Here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. Silence is data. I want you to repeat that with me, if you can, regardless of where you're at. Silence is data. A sudden drop in reporting isn't neutral. A lack of feedback isn't a win. An overall clean dashboard isn't proof of control. It's a prompt for curiosity. When things go quiet, the right question isn't, what did we do right? It's, what have people learned not to say? Because healthy systems are noisy, not chaotic, but commutative. I mean, think about it. They have friction. They have a debate. They have small failure surfacing early when they're still manageable. In resilient systems, people speak up before something breaks because they trust the response they'll get. The trust doesn't come from a slogan. It comes from patterns. What happens when someone raises a concern? Is it exploited? Is it explored? Or is it explained away? Is it treated as an information or is it an inconvenience? People are always watching. They learn fast. One dismissive response can silence 10 future reports. Think about that. One defensive manager can shut down an entire department. And then leadership wonders, well, why were we blindsided by this? So here's the real shift that needs to happen. Stop treating silence as a success because it's not. Start treating it as a signal. If your reporting numbers drop, don't celebrate, investigate. If meetings get quieter, don't assume alignment. Probe for hesitation. If everyone agrees too quickly, slow the conversation down. And do me this favor. Ask better questions. Not why did the person make the mistake, but what made this easiest option in the moment? Not why didn't you follow the procedure, but when does the procedure stop matching reality? And most importantly, what happens here when someone tells the truth? Because the answer to what the question determines is everything. Think about it for just a moment. You don't build safety by eliminating problems. You build safety by making problems visible early, safely, and without fear. And what this means to leaders is they have to tolerate discomfort. And let's just make sure that we're clear here. Tolerate discomfort. Everything is not perfect inside of your workplace. They have to hear things like things that they do not want to hear. Things that they do not like. They have to resist the urge to defend the metric. They have to stay curious instead of corrective. Silence feels good in short terms. It makes things look clean, orderly, and controlled. But quiet systems don't fail loudly at first. They fail slowly and then suddenly. So if things are a little noisy where you are, if people are speaking up, questioning and reporting and challenging things, That's not dysfunctional. That's information. And information, even when it's uncomfortable, is the most valuable safety signal you'll ever get. Because the system that worries me the most is not the one with problems. It's the one that doesn't have anything to say.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
And even if he did, would you really want to meet him? Would you trust a God who's smart enough to build the planets? 'Cause I'm smart enough to know there's a snake in the apple, and the smartest people here, they know it's a fake world. Fake world. You thought you were escaping a fake world. Fake world. It's like I'm stuck inside a video game and it's on repeat.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, this right here running in the background, a simulated world. That's what we have going on.
It's not as bad as it seems.
So there you go.
You're just in another dream. When you finally wake up.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse.
Finally wake up. You're just in another dream.
Yep.
When you finally wake up.
A simulated world. You know, I will not stop this thing. Here we go.
It's a fake world.
Okay, so there you go. A little fake world action. Good simulated world is the way that we call it around here in regards to what we have going on. No doubt about that. And anyways, with that being said, let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, I want to make a reference to this before I forget, because I think it's important to share. I've been receiving, or let me rephrase that. I've been receiving quite a few emails and inquiries online about an event that's going in or was supposed to be taking place in Vancouver called Hop Into Action. And we, at the very beginning stages, were in talks with doing some stuff with the Learning Team Inc. with Brett Sutton and Jeffrey Lith. And we have decided not to be involved with that particular conference going forward. And it looks like there are some people that have been trying to get a hold of what's going on with the conference that's supposed to be taking place later this year or later this month in Canada. And apparently my email got incorporated, or the radio station email got incorporated with the whole mess in regards to reaching out for tickets. We are no longer involved with any of that process. So if you are interested into the Hop Into Action Vancouver edition that's taking place, you will need to contact Learning Teams Inc., Brett Sutton, or Jeffrey Lith about what is going on there. I have nothing to do with it, and neither does Safety FM. Yes, Brett Sutton is part of the Safety FM network in regard to what we do in regard to podcasting, but when it comes to that event itself, we have nothing to do with it. Just a little FYI action. So if you are reaching out or trying to inquire some more information, apparently while we were gone, there was a few people that reached out saying that this was where they needed to contact. So I just want to make sure that we're clearing that up for information purposes, so you to know that you need to contact Brett Sutton or Jeffrey Lith at Learning Teams Inc. will be the best way to go about doing that in regards of what is going on with that event, because we are not involved. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that information. Let's continue talking about some other things, because that's what we kind of do around here. We talk a little bit about everything. Take a listen to this. In a new TikTok video, a Severn citizen in Florida pulled over by a cop. When the cop demanded his ID, the guy said that he'll produce his ID for $500. Ha 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 ha. Take a listen.
So what's your name? Okay. I'm just recording this for the record. I'm not driving or operating a vehicle for hire on the roadways. And my name is my private property. And if you want my name, I'm conditionally accepting your offer just so I can stay in honor so you won't arrest me. So my conditional acceptance for my name to you is you need to give me $500 for the use of my name.
Sir, you will be arrested if you do not present some type of identification.
Really?
Excuse me?
I said really?
Yes, sir, really.
Why do I need to provide identification?
You are operating a vehicle on the roadway.
I'm not operating.
Sir, with all due respect, you're behind the driver, in the driver's seat.
I'm not driving. I'm not driving, and this isn't a driver's seat. Now, if you want to try and prove in court that I'm driving or operating a vehicle for hire, then fine, but I'm stating for the record that I'm not driving or operating a vehicle.
So I've been behind you since you're on Babcock, okay?
Yeah.
You've been in that seat.
No matter how you word your script from your fraternal order of police, I'm telling you on the record I'm not driving or operating. That's official. I'm on the record. And if you want my name, it's $500 cash.
Okay, go ahead and step out of the vehicle.
Sir.
So there you go. Yeah. Don't know sometimes what happens in Florida, or just what people are thinking when it's all said and done with some weird stuff. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we do something a little bit more cordial, and let's bring in our friend John Smalls and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Taylor. T.S. Eliot said, "For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice." This is an excerpt from T.S. Eliot's book, Little Gidding. I like this quote any time of year, but as we're beginning a new year, it seems more fitting to share it now. That's probably why Taylor shared it now. You probably heard somebody say, "That's so last year." I know I've heard it. I've even said it a couple of times. But there is some truth to that. There's some things that we need to put behind us, and we need to focus on moving forward instead of looking back. There is a time when tomorrow becomes today, and today becomes yesterday. Don't get stuck living in the past. You can fondly remember the past, but make sure you're living in today and planning for tomorrow. That's how you make sure you are prepared.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Venezuela's ousted leader, Nicolas Maduro, has faced an American judge in New York, beginning a high-stakes legal and diplomatic showdown.
Maduro entered a not guilty plea to U.S. drug trafficking and narco-terrorism charges, calling himself innocent and a decent man. Prosecutors accuse him of conspiring with traffickers to send large quantities of cocaine into the United States. His lawyers argue he should be immune as a foreign head of state. Lawrence Keller reporting.
At the United Nations in New York, America's decision to seize Maduro from Venezuela is drawing sharp words from both allies and rivals.
The UN Security Council has convened an emergency session to debate the weekend military operation that removed Maduro from power. Some countries are condemning the U.S. action as a dangerous precedent, while others are backing Washington's justification under anti-drug and human rights commitments. The meeting underscores deep global divisions over intervention. Kyle Norris reporting.
In Switzerland, investigators are working through the aftermath of a deadly New Year's bar fire that injured more than 100 people.
Swiss police say they have now identified all 116 people hurt when flames swept through a crowded celebration in a lakeside town. Officials are still determining exactly how the fire started and whether safety rules were followed inside the venue. Families of victims are gathering for memorials. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The new session of Congress is opening under heavy strain with disputes over spending, war powers, and a looming shutdown threat.
Lawmakers return from recess facing a deadline at the end of the month to keep the federal government funded. Members in both parties are pressing for more oversight of President Trump's surprise Venezuela strike, including briefings on the legal basis and long-term plan. At the same time, negotiators are trying to advance bills on health care and affordability. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Across the United States, health officials are reporting a sharp spike in flu hospitalizations, with New York State seeing record weekly numbers.
State and local agencies say hospitals are admitting more patients with severe respiratory symptoms, particularly older adults and young children. Doctors are urging people to get vaccinated, seek treatment quickly if they develop high fever or trouble breathing, and stay home when sick. Liam White reporting.
From Southern California to the Northeast, powerful winter storms are bringing dangerous flooding, heavy snow, and bitter cold to millions.
Forecasters warn that saturated ground and rising rivers in parts of California could trigger mudslides and flash floods in burn areas and low-lying neighborhoods. In the Northeast, plows are working around the clock as drivers face icy roads, limited visibility, and sub-freezing wind chills. Emergency managers are opening warming centers, urging residents to check on vulnerable neighbors. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, self-imploding sounds like a fun time for sure if we start talking about it, no doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, back in 1975. Wheel of Fortune debuts on NBC TV. Yeah, 1975. Wow, what a long time it seems like. Okay, so there you go. So a little over 50 years. 51 years to be exact. Okay, let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Rowan Atkinson turned 71. Howie Long turns 66. Julie Chen turns 56. Eddie Redmayne turns 44. Kate McKinnon turns 42. So there you go. There's some birthdays going on for you for today. So there you go. What else do we got around here? Let's talk about things you ought to know, because that seems to be important. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot is for $180 million. Here's last night winning Powerball numbers: 4, 18, 24, 51, 56, and the Powerball was 14, and the power play was 2. Also, Pete Carroll's Vegas stay lasted about as long as a bad blackjack hand. The Raiders fire the veteran coach after just one season, making him officially one and done in Las Vegas. Carroll signed a 3-year deal before the season, but unraveled fast. The Raiders finished 3-14. The worst record in the NFL, and that was all the ownership needed to see. Rings from Seattle and trophies from USC didn't matter. Vegas only respects wins, not resumes. Owner Mark Davis says that the franchise is refocusing on leadership, culture, and long-term alignment, which is billionaire code for it. This didn't work out at all. Minority owner Tom Brady was at the team's facility yesterday and is expected to have a much louder voice in football decisions moving forward, working closely with the GM, better saying. So there you go. Also, in some other news, 1 in 3 Americans approved of the U.S. military strike to remove Nicolas Maduro from the presidency of Venezuela as to face federal drug trafficking charges, according to Reuters poll released on January the 5th. In contrast, 72 respondents worried about the United States becoming too involved in South American countries. The 2-day poll found that the sharp partisan divide over the rate of the President Trump order, with approval rating of 42%. The results found 65% of Republicans back the military operation compared to 11% of Democrats and 23% of independents. Also, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Democrat, just announced that he would drop his bid for re-election as governor, saying that he would not be able to give the campaign all of his attention as he works to defend Minnesota against allegations of fraud and right-wing attacks, including from President Trump. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next hour or a couple hours or so. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If I can't leave you with some information, here is this. Every new year is a new beginning, a chance to start off fresh with a beautiful story in your life. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
It's like I'm stuck inside a video game and it's on repeat.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move. You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety Transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety Transmission. The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.